So last week I made a video on the brand new Elegoo Centauri Carbon that is going to be officially up for sale starting on Monday the 17th, starting at 9 a.m. Eastern. And in that video that I posted, I not only showed you a bunch of the things that I 3D printed and gave you a nice overview of the 3D printer, and if you haven't seen that video already, I'll have links to it over here. But specifically in this video, I had reached out and am going to be answering questions that you have supplied to me that you wanted to hear further answers on for the Centauri Carbon that I can help answer before it goes on sale. Now, I am also going to be doing a full-on live stream launch event with Elegoo this Monday, the 17th, starting at 8 a.m. Eastern. So make sure that you join us for that big live stream launch event for the Centauri Carbon. Now, easily the most requested question is, what exactly is the price going to be of the Centauri Carbon? And I unfortunately don't have the answer for that right now. They are going to be announcing that on Monday morning during that live stream starting at 8 a.m. So if you want to find out the pricing before it officially is going on sale, you'll want to make sure that you're part of that. And I have a sneaky suspicion it is going to be better than what everybody's kind of been speculating, but I guess we'll have to wait and see exactly what that is. And I honestly don't know what the price is just yet for this, and very excited to see what they're going to release this at. Now, one of the other big requests that I was seeing was, can I show off some print comparisons between the Centauri Carbon and things like the Bambu Lab X1 Carbon? So the first thing I did was printed this Iron Giant bust by Fotis Mint. All of these prints are going to be using the exact same core print settings. Obviously, some of the profiles are going to differ with their speeds and underlying settings, but a 0.2 layer height, a 10% infill using the adaptive cubic setting, 5 top layers, 3 bottom layers, and using the Arachnin wall generator. And you can see that this print took just over 5 hours to print on the Centauri Carbon and looks incredible. Not only that, the supports were removed so effortlessly from this print, and in general just looks amazing in this Prusament Galaxy black filament. So I also printed this on the Bambu Lab X1 Carbon, and that took 4 hours and 51 minutes. And unfortunately, it looks like it ended up getting caught and snagged on one of the little supports there in the back and caused this layer shift or cracking right along the top upper area of the print. But in general, the print, as expected, looks incredible off the X1 Carbon. Just unfortunate that the AI camera didn't capture or catch this, this failure here as it was printing. Now, I also wanted to test out that same print file on the P1S, and that took 5 hours and 31 minutes to print. No print issues with this one, and as expected, looks really dang good. The one call out that I wanted to have on the P1S is that I purposely, for the head on the inside here of the head, I did not use supports on that inside area to test out the bridging functionality, and the P1S had a really difficult time, for whatever reason, of printing that properly. And finally testing this against the new Prusa Core 1, and this took just over 8 hours to print, and again with those same print settings. Now, this one does feel slightly smoother than all of the other prints that have a little bit more of a textured feel to them, but outside of that, I honestly would not be able to tell you which came from which if you just handed me one of these prints. I think they all look really incredible, and there's no significant flaws or issues with any of them that I can really call out, unless I maybe bust out a microscope and really dig in and find out what's exactly wrong with them, but they all look extremely, extremely similar in print quality. Another really interesting one that I got requests of that I honestly didn't think anybody really does on FDM 3D printers, but was printing miniature files with their FDM 3D printers. I figured everybody just kind of uses resin 3D printers like the Elegoo Mars 5 Ultra or whatever other resin 3D printer you might want to use. So I decided to bust out some miniature files and print these at a 0.12 layer height and a 0.08 layer height option. And first up were some of these terrain pieces here from Loot Studios, from the Alice in Wonderland type set here of these little garden pieces. I think these turned out incredible here, printed at the 0.12 layer height, taking just over 2 hours to print. These look pretty dang good. The next one was this stone passageway that I printed in this marble PLA at 0.12 layer height. This took, I believe, over 5 hours to print, and I did end up having one small issue with the supports not connecting properly here to the horse's mouth area, where I ended up getting that failure. But outside of that, this print looks incredibly clean and able to show off some of those impressive details at the profile setting of 1.2 layer height. Now, again, that is using a standardized profile that Elegoo has for the Centauri Carbon in the Elegoo Slicer that I just worked with. I didn't really refine that at all, just went and printed with this. Now, I really wanted to see what I could do actually printing some miniatures, some 32mm scale miniatures. So I modified that print profile down to a 0.08 layer height and tried printing 2 different sets of miniatures. And unfortunately, I ended up breaking the feet off of both of the miniatures trying to get them free from their supports. And I probably need to dial in the support settings slightly, but these printed far better than I was expecting with the 0.4 stock nozzle here on the Centauri Carbon at the 0.08 layer height setting. Obviously, you're going to probably get much better results if there was a 0.2mm nozzle and that you could print with an even finer level of detail. But just printing for, I think one of these was about 50 minutes and the other was just over an hour to print. The print quality looks honestly better than I was expecting with this FDM 3D printer at a such small detail. Now, I really wanted to print something slightly larger with that same level of detail, so I found this Kingdom Come Deliverance statue over on Printables, and this printed beautifully in this green apple filament here. I think this was from Airy One, and look how smooth the supports are coming off of this here. Looking so good. I'll get some detailed shots of this here as I'm continuing to remove these supports, but this printed so nice. I think this is ripped straight from the video game itself, provided by the developer. One side note, if you're gonna end up printing this little statue for yourself, the base is not perfectly flat, so you're gonna wanna trim that off. I did not notice that until I was about halfway through the print, and which is why on the build plate it had some of the weird artifacts, as well as the bottom is kind of looking like it peeled, but it wasn't. It's just a curved surface on the bottom of the statue here. Now, I also got a lot of comments asking if you can print a full-size helmet on the build volume of this printer. It's not as big as something like the Neptune 4 Plus or obviously the Neptune 4 Max, but it is a relatively good size build volume for any kind of helmet that is gonna be tightly fitting on your head. Think of like a Batman cowl or an Iron Man mask, something like that would fit properly here on the build volume of this printer, and you've more than likely seen a bunch of other creators printing helmets on the same size 3D printer as this one here. And in my previous video, I showed you how I printed this Spiderpunk helmet from Yosh Studios. This was all in multiple parts though, printed on the Centauri Carbon. And I also just started printing the GI Robot helmet from Yosh Studios, and I printed the front and back half of the helmet here directly on the Centauri Carbon without any issues. And where you're seeing some of the banding in the middle is just because this is a silk filament and how it's gonna end up printing, depending on the print speeds and temperatures and all that good stuff there. And just as another print comparison, I printed the same front of the helmet here on the Prusa Core 1, and there is a good amount of ringing that we're seeing on the eyes there coming off the Core 1, just letting me know that I probably need to dial in the settings on that printer a little bit further for this particular filament and how it prints. The Centauri Carbon though, that print profile I think turned out really good and smooth, especially around the eye area. One of the other popular questions is, how is the print quality out of the box? And honestly, fantastic. I'm just using the predefined profiles that came with the Elegoo Slicer that works with the Centauri Carbon. There are basically profiles for every different filament type that Elegoo offers, from PLA to the fast PLA to Ptfe to ABS to ASA to TPU, and they also have generic profiles as well, and they're all printing extremely well with a variety of different filaments that have been throwing at the Centauri Carbon so far. And since Elegoo did clone Orca Slicer to create their own Elegoo Slicer, you can take advantage of all of the profile tuning options or filament tuning options that are available in the Slicer, just like you can in Orca Slicer. So if you wanted to take any of those existing profiles and then refine them for the specific material that you're working on, you can do that. What size nozzles are available for it? Well, it comes stock with the 0.4 nozzle, and that's what I've been printing with. I don't have access to any others. However, Elegoo has confirmed that they are gonna have available a 0.2, the 0.4, 0.6, and a 0.8. I don't know if those are gonna be available at the launch of the printer, but those should be available. And they've also let me know that there will have full print head assembly options available. So if you wanted to do like a quick swap, you can do that as well. How does it print with advanced materials? I'm assuming that's anything beyond PLA, Ptfe. Yeah, I ended up printing as part of my initial test sets with some ASA, and it worked fantastic. Since it's fully enclosed, it's not a heated chamber, but it can take advantage of the ambient temperature in there for printing with some of these more robust materials. Also, it has a hardened nozzle, allowing you to print with some of those more abrasive materials and not have to worry about the nozzle wearing down as much. I also printed a full flexible bouncing airless basketball here. This is in BQ's HRPLA, which is basically a harder TPU, but still has some nice soft give and bounce to it. How do you swap out the nozzles or the hot end assembly? Well, I don't know for sure on the nozzles because I haven't gone through that process yet, and I don't want to jack up anything on my printer as of right now. However, for the full hot end assembly, there are 2 screws that you can remove, followed up by 2, I think it's the thermistor and one of the other cables there that's going to be plugged into the board that you just remove, and you should be able to completely swap that out for a whole other hot end assembly. Is Wi-Fi required for the printer like some of the other machines that are out there? No, you do not have to use Wi-Fi whatsoever. As soon as you take it out of the box and plug it in, if you didn't want to connect it to the Wi-Fi, you don't have to. There's no setup process involving you downloading an app or connecting to the Wi-Fi. If you wanted to leave this completely offline, it's entirely up to you. It does not have an app or work through Elegoo Cloud or anything like that. They don't have anything like that just yet, as far as I'm aware. So it's gonna work all entirely on your own internal network through Wi-Fi. And one of the other questions was, is there an Ethernet port on the machine? No, there is no Ethernet port. So it's just the Wi-Fi as well as the front-facing USB. So if you wanted to slice directly on your printer and put that on the USB and load it on the printer and print that way, that's completely up to you. Or if you wanted to slice it on your printer and wirelessly send it to the machine, you can do that way as well. One of the big ones is always, how is the door? Yeah, it's pretty good. It is a glass door, and it doesn't open as wide as I'd like it to. I have said that I wish it opened up a little bit wider there. It's a little bit beyond 90 degrees, but it is fairly durable, and I've given it a few good slams without it breaking yet. In my previous video, I also mentioned that there is a camera that you can use to monitor your prints. One of the questions was, is it an AI smart camera like we see on some of the other machines? No, as of right now, this is just a camera for monitoring your prints and creating time lapses of those prints. There's no AI smart functionality. And as we saw with the previous Iron Giant bust that I did on the X1 Carbon, even that smart AI camera doesn't capture print fails that I've had half the time anyways. Another one that I frequently got is what kind of build plates will work with this printer. And it comes with a dual-sided build plate. So one has a textured PEI, the other is smoother and is intended for cooler temperature surfaces here that we've seen on some of the other popular build plate options. But this will work with basically any similar size build plate that we've seen for things like the X1 Carbon. So here I have a custom build plate that I've had made from Ember Prototypes that fits perfectly in here. Or if you have the cryo grip plates that have become insanely popular here from the BQ team, that also fits properly directly in the Centauri Carbon. Another thing that Elegoo's doing differently than basically all the other 3D printers that are out there that I'm aware of is that they have 2 different bed leveling profile options that you can have stored directly on the printer. So you have an A and a B option, which is also why on your build plate that comes with the printer, you have an A option and a B option here that you can also choose when slicing your prints. But this means I can also level this bed for the A option using this build plate here, or if I wanted to have for the B option, this cryo grip plate, I can put this on and come into the menu and do bed leveling and select the B option and proceed with the bed leveling to level out this bed for this particular build plate. What this does is you don't have to do the bed leveling before every single print, which saves you a good amount of time at the start of a print. Basically, as soon as it heats up, it's going to start printing. And about the software and firmware for the machine, the software that you're going to be using to slice your files is Elegoo Slicer, and there have been a bunch of people asking if that's going to work with your other Neptune 3D printers, and I can see other profiles for the Neptune lineup. So that's exciting to see that they are going to be including that in the Elegoo Slicer option. So if anybody wanted to use that, the other really popular question that I've been getting, the one that I'm also interested in, is will Elegoo be working directly with Orca Slicer to support the Centauri Carbon directly in Orca Slicer and not have to use Elegoo Slicer? And as far as I know, yes, they are directly working with the Orca Slicer team to make this ported over. I don't have a timeline on when that's going to happen, hopefully in the very short term. I'm also looking forward to that as well. And since the printer records time lapses of your prints, some of the questions were around how do you actually access the time lapses. As of right now, they are only accessible directly on the printer. So you're going to come down here to camera here under settings, and then under camera, you can see your video list. And from your video list, you'll have access to all of your prints that you've recorded time lapses of, and you can choose to export, and that's going to download that directly to your USB stick that you have plugged into the machine. Does Elegoo have a mobile app or does it support remote printing? No, there is no mobile app currently available. I don't know if Elegoo is going to provide one. Maybe they're actively working on one. I hope they are, with like some basic capabilities to view what's going on with the printer or get notifications or get access to those time lapses. But as of right now, there is no remote printing option for the printer other than you just having local access on your Wi-Fi network to the printer itself. You can punch in the IP address of the printer directly on your phone or browser and get access to the printer controls as well from anywhere inside, again, of your local network. So it poops, but is there going to be a multi-color system available for it? Yes. So in the back, it does before the start, I think, of every print or as you're changing the colors for your filament, it's going to purge a little bit of poop and then cut that off and spit it out the back. There is a pre-sliced file that you can print out that's going to attach to the back that's going to allow you to capture those. It doesn't poop a whole heck of a lot, which is awesome. So this is going to take me quite a while to fill up this little poop bucket here. But there was a very interesting comment left on a Elegoo promotional video by Elegoo when someone asked if they're going to have a multicolor system, and they simply said yes. So hopefully we'll get more details on that soon, and maybe you can ask them about that on the live stream Monday. Also, when it's pooping, what kind of wiping mechanism does it use? So it actually has these little silicone brush pads that it's going to rub the nozzle against to help clean it as it's purging and getting things ready to print. And it does look like these are replaceable because they did come with a spare one here, and it has a little sticky side to it that I should be able to just pull off and then stick back on. Another was, how big of an issue is the Ptfe tube that's feeding in from the side? Again, it's a side mounted spool, so thank you. But I had called out in my video that I had from time to time some issues feeding filament from the very top because of the turn. It's sort of a sharp turn from the Ptfe tube directly into the heat end, to the hot end. And I've probably, out of all the prints I've done, maybe 3 times it's been an issue where I wasn't able to just push it through, and it just needed to give it a little bit more pressure and it would push through the curve. Or if I wanted to lift up the top here, it will relieve some of the stress here that's placed on that Ptfe tube. But it's also, I think, has to do with the positioning. So the closer it is to one of the corners, the harder it's going to be bent and curved in that space. And another very popular question that I have seen from multiple people is, what's up with the wobble with this printer? Well, it's not the printer, it's my table. My table is on casters, and I should have really removed those at some point, but it's been on there for years now, which has caused the rocking action that you see on some of my videos where I'm working with printers here. And also, this table is not perfectly level. There's little dips in here from years and years of use of it, which is causing it to not sit properly in some spots. And one of the last questions was just, how loud is the printer? And I can show you with using a few of the different print speed profiles here. Yes, on the printer, you have different speed options. So a silent option, like a standard option, and 2 other faster options. And with the door open versus door closed. And honestly, there wasn't a huge amount of difference between the different speed setting options and the decibel readings for each of those. But clearly having the door fully closed was gonna add a little bit more silence to the printer. So hopefully this helped answer some of your questions that you might have about the Centauri before it goes on sale on Monday. And again, I wanted to remind everyone that we are gonna be doing a big live stream launch event this Monday, the 17th of February, starting at 8 a.m. Eastern, leading up to the actual release of the Centauri Carbon at 9 a.m. Eastern. There should be lots of cool things that we're gonna be talking about and showing off during that live stream, including talking about the pricing that I'm also excited to find out in here for this 3D printer before it goes live. Also, I want to say a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters for your continued support. If you're interested in things like my 3D printer settings that I use for my 3D prints, you can find those over in my Patreon. But if there are additional questions that you have and I can try to answer, let me know in the comments. Maybe we'll cover those during the live stream of it. But it should be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to a lot of you getting your hands on this, because honestly, it just works extremely well, and assuming the price point is really good, and Elegoo's usually pretty good with their pricing, I think this is gonna end up being a really big hit. Hey, thanks so much for watching, you all, and I'll see you next time.